All right, I hope everybody had a good Christmas, a good New Year's. I got a lot of announcements to make, so it's going to be a pretty long video. Sorry about that, but it's just a lot easier for me typing everything up and sending it out. So please pay attention. Again, a lot of stuff to go over. First, let's look at the practice and talk about how practice will look, especially the first 3 weeks. I want all of our pitchers at least once a week, the best we can to be able to throw bullpen. On campus, I know you have a pitching coach, so if you can throw once with your pitching coach and once with us, that'll be good. If you need to throw more than once, let me know. Right now, our problem is catcher availability. We have a good bit of catchers, but our catchers also need to condition and go through our throwing program. So the more that they're having to catch pitchers, the less amount that they're able to do that as well. And I don't want to overwork our catchers. Right now, we have at least 4 catchers in basketball. So, right now our availability is not at full 100% capacity. So that has a lot to do with who can pitch and when they can pitch it, because we have to have catchers that can catch pitchers. So just look over that. This will be the only week where we have the flexibility that we have, because Monday we don't have school. And I think I'll be able to come out there just about any time on Monday. So look over that. If I missed a pitcher, please let me know. Okay. We do have a lot of pitchers, and I may have missed one. Let me know, and we'll get you in a time slot. Practice times this week, you can see that. Usually, I like to give everybody Wednesdays off, especially our JV and varsity. But next week, it looks like it's going to rain on Thursday. And Wednesday is going to be a good day, so I decided to go with Wednesday and take Thursday off. So leads me to a next point. We do have a set schedule. Usually we like to go Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, the first 3 weeks. And usually I like to give Wednesdays off throughout the year, but that's based on weather. Like next week, if I'm looking at Thursday, you get a percentage chance of rain. Wednesday's going to be nice, and we'll just have to flip-flop those days. Right now, Saturdays for the first 3 weeks are makeup days. So we will be off next Saturday unless there's a day that gets canceled. Then we'll have to make that up, and in that case, we'll go at 10 o'clock. Now, there are situations in the next 3 weeks that we could practice on Saturday without getting canceled. For example, we have 2 hours that we can actually do real practice in the first 3 weeks, 2 hours per week, where we can hit and use bats and basically do anything we want to do, because everything else is just throwing and conditioning. So it may be that the best day to do that weather-wise is on a Saturday, and for time-wise. So we'll just have to look, and it's basically week by week. Now, once we start hitting and throwing, you can pretty much guarantee we're going to practice on Saturdays, because those Saturdays are good opportunities to scrimmage. So you're going to need to expect to be here on Saturdays. So this is the plan for next week, when we usually end when the time says we end. Obviously, it could end a little before or a little after. Some announcements real quick. Booster Club meeting on Tuesday, Willie Springs at 7:15. If you have your dinner money, please bring that in. And all dinner money must be turned in by January the 18th. We'll have a mandatory meeting that night in the high school gym, as long as basketball is not playing. All tickets need to be turned in. So if you didn't sell the allotted amount, you need to turn in the tickets, because we don't want to have tickets floating out there where people are getting meals that they didn't pay for. So please make sure all of that is turned in. The next thing I want to talk about, usually when the weather is bad, we go inside. Right now, as of right now, on January the 2nd, I've decided that we will go outside any way possible. So unless it's raining or just absolutely freezing cold, where I don't want to mess up anybody's arms, we're just going to have to go outside and deal with how wet it is. Maybe we can get on the football field. We can get on the practice football field, go up to the park. I don't know what we're going to do, but I want to avoid going inside at all possible. The reason why is that's why, our inside sport, every inside sport that we've had at Ardmore has been quarantined. So I want to avoid going inside. I definitely know that this year I'm not going to be able to pack in gyms like we've done in the past, hitting off tees and that kind of stuff. We're just not going to be able to do that stuff. So um, it may be that we can only bring a few people in, that we can only bring one team in, and we send everybody home, and that's just part of it. That's just what we're going to have to do. Um, because it's either you sacrifice one day or you bring everybody in and then you have a positive case and that shuts down the entire team for 10 days. So, if it's common sense tells you, well, you sacrifice one day to save 10. So that's just what we're going to have to do. Now, if we have a multiple string where it's just raining 3 or 4 days, we'll have to do something and be creative. But, the days this year of packing people in that old gym and doing all the hitting stuff we've been able to do, we're just not going to be able to do that. And that, that's part of it. So it just is what it is. The next thing is obviously an outdoor sport, especially one that requires it to be somewhat dry. There's always changes in the schedule. There's those 1 o'clock, remind saying practice is canceled. We're going to do some. Some people will come in this time, some people come in that time. So I'm sorry about that, but that's just part of it. There's nothing we can do about it. So that's why it's important for everybody to be signed up for the Remind 101s and players to be signed up. Looking at the Remind 101 list, middle schoolers, I don't have every player signed up. Okay, so that's on you. All right, I talked about that the day after Labor Day, September the 12th. We had our meeting, I think. So you need to, if you don't know the code, go on Google Classroom and look it up, or come see me. But I'm not going to keep sending that out, okay? Because it's on you. You got to take individual responsibility to sign yourself up. But, it takes 10 seconds. So everybody needs to be signed up for the Remind 101 so that you know what's going on and that you can get those announcements when they're sent out. All right. The next thing I want to talk about is something that we're all tired of, but it has to be discussed. Our philosophy when it comes to the virus, COVID, is we want to decrease our chances of getting quarantined as an individual and as a team the best we can. That does not mean that we won't get quarantined. It does not mean, obviously, that we won't get sick. You can do everything possibly right and still get sick and still get quarantined. It's just how viruses work. But our whole philosophy is control what we can control and decrease the chances of a quarantine. Okay, and we're going to go a little bit probably above and beyond other teams because we just can't afford to miss 10 days. It's just something that we just, as a team, will we have individuals miss 10 days? Yes, we will. That's inevitable. But as a team, we just cannot afford to miss 10 days and have 90% of the team healthy. We just can't afford that. You just can't pick up a bat and just go hit. Even the best players can't do that. So we have to do extra things to help ourselves out. So here's the first thing I want to talk about in the classroom. I shouldn't say most, but some of the quarantine is going to happen based on exposure in the classroom, especially the first 2 months until the weather gets a little warmer and daylight savings hits. So what can you do as a student in the classroom? I mean, there's a few things. One, when you go into the classroom on Wednesday, look around. Are you within 6 feet of anyone else? And if the answer is yes in your classroom, go up to your teacher. You don't have to do it on the first day, and it's probably not a good idea to do it on the first day. But sometime within the next week, go up to your teacher and ask your teacher, say, listen, is there an empty spot? It doesn't have to be a desk. Is there a space I can sit? I won't bother anyone. I'll bring my own chair. Is there a space I can sit in the classroom to stay 6 feet away from anyone to keep me from getting quarantined for something? Okay? You can ask. You can control that. And maybe he or she says yes, and there you go. You've eliminated one class, at least one class, where you're not going to get exposed and get sent home. Okay, so that's what it means. What I mean when I'm saying decreasing our chances. Now, the teacher may say no, you can't do that. Well, you've done everything you can do within your power. You've controlled what you can control. So, it is what it is at that point. But you can help yourself out. Okay, we will buy as many chairs as we can. We will store them in all the coaches' rooms throughout the campus so that you can go, like, for example, if the third period teacher says you can do that, then after second period, you go pick up a chair. And after third period, you go put it back into one of the coaches' rooms. Okay, so we'll do anything we can to keep you from getting quarantined. Okay, so it's probably going to be a little easier in high school because I don't think there's as many high schoolers as middle schoolers, but it's not going to hurt to go ask. Second thing I want you to do is look around and see if any softball players are within 6 feet of you in each class. If they are, ask your teacher to move you. Okay, we don't want you sitting beside any other softball players in the classrooms, because that right there is a for sure way to get multiple softball players quarantined, is if we're sitting beside each other in classrooms. So we want to be separated the best we can in the classroom. And that's something that I think probably all teachers would comply with and help you out. But again, go up there and politely ask your teachers that and tell them why. Okay. Now, if you've been trouble in their classroom, if you've had bad grades in their classroom, if I was your teacher, I'll be honest with you, if you haven't helped yourself out because grade wise, and I probably wouldn't help you. So you'd have to show me that you earned the right to be helped out a little bit. So that's probably going to play a key into whether teachers are going to help you out or not. I don't know, but we'll see. Anyways, do what you can do to control your situation. Practicing games. The great thing is, once the umpire says play ball, it's softball. Okay, we get to play. We don't really have to worry about everything. But to get to that point, we do. So obviously, we'll continue to dress in 3 different locations. Players will have 12 minutes to dress and get on the field. We'll put benches outside our home dugout to allow everybody to socially distance. We might have to have people bring lawn chairs. It just depends on the situation. I know for away games, you're probably going to have to bring your own lawn chair. So parents, if you can help me out with that, if you can bring that with, for your players, or for your daughters, that would be good, because I don't plan unless someone tells me to accommodate away teams. So I don't expect them to accommodate us. So we're going to have a plan for away games. Some dugouts, are okay. If we play the Sportsplex in Huntsville, we can all probably separate somewhat. But, I know we have one tournament at Palmer Park, and that's just not feasible. We're not going to be able to separate in the dugout. So we're going to have to go outside the dugout to do that. Okay. So those are just things that we have to do. It's not something that I necessarily like or agree with, but, we want to keep from happening what's happening to just about every sport up here at Ardmore. So we got to go a little bit beyond expectations for that. The next thing I want to talk about is, as I said, in the fall, the rosters are going to fluctuate. Hopefully each Sunday, as we start playing, I'll have a set roster throughout the week. But again, that's probably going to fluctuate as well. And we're just going to do the best we can. So just expect the unexpected is the best I can give you. For the concession stand, we have to have a concession stand. That's one way we make money, just like businesses need to stay open. One thing, though, I think that can help us out is parents. Obviously, you don't have to share this information, but if you've had the virus, it would be nice if you would let me know. And the reason for that is I can then, we, because I have never done the concession schedule, but we can match those that have had the virus with those who haven't had the virus. Therefore, we're decreasing the spread or the potential spread and exposure as much as possible. Okay, I don't know how often we can do that, because most people probably still have not been infected with the virus. But if you've had it, let us know, and we'll do the best we can of getting people that's had the virus with those who have not had the virus. Because if you're like me, y'all have to work too, and you don't want to be around people that's going to cause you to miss work. So we want to try to help you out and try to help our program out as well, and just use common sense things that maybe other folks aren't doing. Let me go through our schedule. All right. If you look at 2/15, okay, we have a JV President's Day. So please, if you're off that day, it's President's Day. And your daughter is not playing, and even if they are playing, you're going to have help. There's no doubt about it. Plan to be up here and help us out. Okay. I'm going to try to have 2 teams in that tournament. So we'll have a lot of folks. We'll have 11th graders playing all the way through 8th graders playing if we can have 2 teams in that tournament. So that's what I'm going to try to do. One of those teams is probably going to have to play elsewhere. And that's just part of it. It's too hard. The reason being is because I can't play those 2 teams against each other. That's against the rules. And you really can only have 4 teams at one location. So it's going to really be impossible for those 2 teams to be at the same spot, the same location. So one of those teams is going to have to travel, but that's part of it. We're playing games. JV, a schedule change I decided not to play the game during spring break against James Clemens. That's JV. Varsity's still playing. JV's not playing, so you'll be free to go during spring break. Okay, and then middle school, your season ends on the calendar on the schedule March the 18th. So unless we have any makeup games after that, your season is over. I will not make up any games after spring break. So I can tell you for certain that your season will end before spring break. So we will have all our games in by then. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm going to go over my list of notes real quick and make sure I didn't forget anything. Remember, we do have the Booster Club dinner coming up. And we'll talk about what we're going to do for that. Obviously, we're not going to be able to pack everybody in like we've been doing right now. In indoor locations, AHSAA has mandated 20% capacity. I don't even know if we'll do that yet. As far as maxing it out at 20, we may go below that. So we'll just have to see. So again, like I've said multiple times, those that you sold tickets to, please communicate with them and explain to them that, hey, it's like, we may not even be able to go inside. It may be a to-go type situation. Honestly, I don't think many people are going to, complain about that in the middle of a pandemic. I don't think many people probably want to be packed in the gym anyways. But just in case, so no one's angry at us and putting bad things on Facebook about us, just be upfront with everybody about that. So if you have any questions, let me know, and I will see you all on Monday.